court promo shoot. Take one. Clash on the court promo shoot. Take one.
Three games, one day.
Live only in Cardiff Met Sport TV. Yeah.
Good evening, Mohammed Farah from Cardiff Met Sports TV. Welcome to the Archers Arena for our second clash on the court. We've already had an exciting netball game, but this is basketball. We've got Cardiff Met women faces the University of East London. We've got our special guest here today from the basketball club, Tom Gundrip, who's joining us today. So Tom, what do we expect from today's game?
Firstly, thank you for having me. Secondly, the last game between these two teams was incredibly close. It went to overtime and ended up with a 12-point win for the University of East London. They've come a little bit short-handed today. They've got a couple of players away with the London Lions in Europe. The Archers are in great form. There's 12 of them, they're firing on all cylinders. I expect them to be lifted by the home crowd, and I expect it to be a tough day for the University of East London, but the UEL teams, they never give up, so it should be a feisty affair.
Okay, so the Archers, we've got Lauren Saki and Shannon Hatchett, who are on good form. What do you expect from both of them players today?
Yeah, they both work incredibly well as individual players and then as a duo. You'll see them a lot together in the pick and roll. Shannon will look to score the ball a lot and get her in transition, and you want to watch Lauren Psyche play. She is pure entertainment. The way she passes, the way she moves, she's got incredible skills. We don't call her Silky Psyche for nothing. So I think those two will provide great entertainment.
Yeah, like you said earlier, both teams are on good form today. The Archers have got 1-4 on a bounce now. The University of East London have won all their games this season. The only game the Archers lost this season are to the University of East London. Do you expect us to get revenge today?
They'll certainly be aiming for it, and I think that always adds something to it. When the only game you've lost is against the team you're about to play, you have this sort of chip on your shoulder. And in a home game like this especially, I can see them really trying to come out firing early. We know who their key players are. They've got a lot of good experience together over the course of the season, so I'll be expecting them to come out firing here.
Okay, yeah, the crowd is filling up nicely behind us. We've got the East London team training there, we've got the Archers training there behind us. So do we expect a high scoring game today?
The Archers have certainly scored plenty of points. They put 90 up the other week and they didn't shoot particularly well. If they can get out in transition and Shannon Hatch knocks down the shots and Abby Young can knock down the shots, we could be knocking on the door of 100.
Okay, so Tom, what is your role in the Archers Basketball Club?
So I'm the head coach of the wheelchair high performance programme, so that includes the Women's Premier League team, and then I also coach the running men's National League team as well.
Oh, so you're a busy man.
I'm a very busy man, and I'm here today as well, and I love it.
Okay. So this is the second clash of the court. Later on, we have got the men's basketball team. What do you expect from them this evening?
That's going to be a very, very difficult affair. It's an incredibly close league. Most teams are only winning games by a couple of points, and anyone can beat anyone. It's a cross-city rivalry. The Archers have got a small squad, but they've got a lot of very talented players. They know about Cardiff Uni. Cardiff Uni know about Archers. That's going to be a real attritional battle, but one that the crowd will absolutely love. Okay.
Coming back to this evening's game between the Lions and the Lions don't have many players I see over there. A couple of their players have dropped out.
Yeah, so I think you will see a change in tactics from them. If you turn up with only 7, you might drift into more of a zone defence to try and save the energy on running. But they also don't have a lot of size with them, looking over my shoulder there. So it'll be interesting to see how they try and defend. It's not like the Archers have got a lot of size, but they have got tall guards. And then Shannon Hatch can be a mismatch and Lara can be a mismatch. So it'll be quite an interesting game. I think we'll see a lot of shooting and a lot of drive and kick stuff today.
Okay, thanks for that, Tom. We're going to go, pass over to our commentary team now, and they're going to give us the starting lineups of both teams.
We are at the second game of the day today on Clash of the Court. We've got the Archers women heading up against the University of East London. We're going to run through our starting lineups now. We're very excited to get this game underway. As you can see, everyone's getting warmed up. Our coach, Steph Collins, has started with Abigail Juncker, Lara Habling, Molly James, Lauren Psyche, and Shannon Hatch. My name's David Jones, and I'm joined today by Ryan. What do you think about that as a lineup?
Very interesting. We've seen Steph Collins has gone small ball here. We expect Lauren Psyche to run the point. But more importantly, it's all WBBL players who usually play on the weekend. So it's an experienced side, it's a side of quality, and it's a very interesting selection by Steph Collins.
It's really strange to see 3 guards. We normally see the size of this team really used to our advantage, and now we seem to be going small ball. Looking at the starting 5 for East London, we've got Cheyenne Douglas-Small, Maggie Evans, Elizabeth Eason, Janisa Bedoya, and Julisha Cadogan. Now, as we know, they are away, most of their players away with the London Lions in Europe. So this is a smaller squad. So this is a team that's going to play a lot of minutes tonight. So we've got to see the Archers run out. Go ahead and run, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I think we're going to need to, well, we're going to see a bit of exhaustion from University of East London. Like you say, it's a side where they're depleted in numbers, but more importantly, they've got the upper hand in the sense that they won the previous fixture. The Archers will be looking for revenge, so we should be expecting a competitive tussle here tonight.
Well, as you just saw there, I'm joined by Ryan, but also next to me, I have Tom Gumtrip. Thank you. You've just joined us from Mo. You've run alongside and you've come up to join us. How are you doing, pal?
No, I'm great. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, well, cheers. Well, between the 3 of us, we should be able to get this done, right?
3-man crew. They've got 3-man crew for officiating, 3-man crew here. We're going big today. We're going very big.
Just makes sense. So like you said, yeah, East London did get the best of the Archers earlier on in the season, but they're coming into this game on great form. We've got Southampton Solent that they beat 90-66, and then Southampton University that they beat 96-54. So 2 very comprehensive wins in recent time. Shannon Hatch expectedly perhaps leading the scoring with 26 points against Solent. But the surprise performances of those 2 games was Molly James in both games, back-to-back, getting 18 points. Ryan, what effect do you think that she can have on the game today?
Well, she hasn't played much for the WBBL side on the weekend. That has to be taken into consideration. But listen, she's a great talent. She's full of quality. I think we're going to see that tonight, Dove.
Yeah. So in this 3-guard lineup, she's the extra guard, isn't she, Tom? I mean, normally we see Psyche and Juncker at that 1 and 2 slot. So coming into the 3, whilst we take away Mara at the centre, is this because of these last 2 games, you think, that Molly James has forced her way in, that she had to be selected?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key being that she provides a lot of floor spacing. She's not played that much. She was coming off an injury at the start of the season, so she's only just starting to hit her straps. And I think one of the keys is that so much attention is put on Lauren Psyche and Shannon Hatch, and then also Abigail Juncker has that sort of reputational thing of an American coming in, and she's got an experienced college career. Molly's not played a lot in recent years, so she's thriving in that sort of role where she's going to get a lot of open looks. And it's really important that your 3rd or 4th players, if they can nail down those roles, then it makes you a very difficult team to stop.
Absolutely. 3-point shooting has been something that the Archers have struggled with a little this season, shooting 27% this year. So maybe adding that extra guard, like you say, will just open up the court a bit more, playing almost 5 out with just Habling, I assume, holding up in the paint. So it looks like we're about to tip off now. Good to see fist bumps all around. Good sportsmanship. All right, we've got the referee preparing. Well, here we go, and we are off. Shannon Hatch wins it. Habling throws it back straight forward, getting out and running. First shot, first basket. Let's go. That's what we want, boys.
Quick fire move from the Archers there. Shannon Hatch straight out the blocks.
All right, so we're moving forward. East London trying to put it in, but they can't. Lauren Psyche, can she control the game? They're moving the ball around nicely. Good ball movement from the Archers. Abigail Juncker over this right-hand side. Psyche moving the ball so quickly, not letting the ball stop at any point. Finding Shannon Hatch. And just off. Abigail Juncker with the offensive rebound. And the ball goes out Archer's way. Well, what a start, Ryan. Can't ask for much more.
No, and Dav, I'm not mad at that look either. It was a nice shot from Hatch.
Yeah.
And she was unlucky not to make her second basket of the evening already.
I mean, the clock was going down. She finds a little section of space. Abigail Juncker with a runner coming off down close. That's good work. They're going to have to work hard against this East London outfit because they've only got those 2 bench players. They need to keep them running. Oh, and lazy hands leads it into Lauren Psyche. Can she find a teammate? Just on different wavelengths there.
Yeah, I think what we're going to see here is a lot of full court pressing from the Archers. It looks like they're going to go into a bit of a zonal 1-2-2 press. So we see Shannon Hatch at the point there. They're going to look to try and make East London really physically work hard just to get the ball up the floor.
Yeah, it looks there like they gave up the space in the paint for the mid-range shot. Quite happy to press them high up, expend that energy because we've got such a different size of squad today.
And I think it's not just the sort of the length of the bench, but also whenever you're trapping, if you've got taller players, we saw that Junker's got a height advantage here.
Absolutely.
Any height advantage you've got, especially in the traps, East London are going to find it difficult to pass their way out of it. So that size at the guards is a rare thing for the Archers over historic years, but they're going to find it a little bit easier today.
And that ball's gone out there. Is it Archer's ball? No. I think we're going to the free throw line here. Yeah, we are going to the free throw line here. Okay, well, the first free throws of the afternoon. Molly James. First one up. Can't quite make it. Let's see if she gets the second one. One thing you've got to say about Molly James is her form is very consistent. Every time I've seen her so far this year, that free throw never changes. Unfortunately, she's unlucky on both occasions today. Like you're saying, that 2-man trap there again. And they won it. Oh, it just didn't come off for them. And again, they
this is the gamble. This is the gamble when you go for the traps and you take 2 to the ball. As the attacking coach, you say, do you know what, if we can get out of that, that's a good thing for us, that we can go play 4v3 down the other end. And then we saw there that we had a player space in the corner, 1 down the middle, 2 defenders. There's going to be an open look somewhere, so it's up to the Archers to make sure that they try and protect the layups and give up mid-range shots if they need to.
And there we see it changing because the ball's gone out of bounds. They're not allowed to trap up high. And we see how difficult it was there for them to contain the East London outfit. Molly James looking inside. Anne Havling can't get the shot off. Referee blows his whistle. I don't believe that was a shooting foul, so I think we'll get a side-out ball here. Ryan, what do you make of this East London outfit so far?
Well, it's been a gritty performance from both sides early on. We've had tenacity involved, and Cardiff Met have had great ball movement to start with, and I expect that to work throughout the game. We mentioned East London having a depleted squad today, and they're expected to be worked.
Shannon Hatch off the pick. Just off. She's normally cash from that mid-range area. Shannon Hatch, she's got 3 people to defend all by herself here, Tom.
Yeah, you can't really give her that much space on a regular basis. She will make people pay. Yep. But it's not just if she's knocking them down. As a team, you know she's done it for years now. You are scared of that. So sometimes it's not even about making them. It's just the threat that her gravity provides.
Another miss for East London there off the body feint. It did open a little bit of space to the 3. Psyche with some penetration. Pulling up and just unlucky again. We're going through a really scrappy couple of minutes here. Neither team can really get the ball down through the bucket.
So this would be something to watch for the rest of the game, in that the nature of the hoops is physically different. These hoops are nailed into the ground a bit, so they're not very giving. They're very solid. So on the drop down hoops, a ball will hit the rim and it'll gently roll in a lot of the time. But these are nailed into the floor. They're a bit more solid and they're quite old. So it'd be interesting to see how many shots like Lauren Psyche's would normally roll in. It'd be interesting to see how often that happens.
I see. That's so interesting that the physical combination of the nailing into the ground is actually making such a difference. I had never thought about that. Well, we did get an offensive rebound, I think, there, but the ball just coming off an Archer player, and East London get to restart again.
And that's the second offensive rebound of the evening already for Abigail Juncker.
Yeah, really working hard. Habling with the steal. Looking away. There's Molly James. In off the backboard. That's a beautiful layup.
The problem when you've only got 7 players, you don't really want to foul too often, especially in the first quarter. So when they go into the hoop, we saw there that East London want to get caught in the way too much.
They're just giving up the shot. It's open there.
Sometimes they'll have to.
And an offensive rebound for East London. Laura Habling seemed to be just running ahead already, and they called the foul. I think that was probably a good foul there. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're 3.5 minutes into this quarter already, and when you look back at game 1 between these two sides, University of East London scored 27 in that opening quarter, so I know there's a numbers difference here tonight, but Met will be happy with this start for sure.
Absolutely. Lauren Psyche, she's got Hatch ahead of her, and down the hatch, Shannon Hatch. There we are, look at the bench getting all energized. That's a fantastic start, 8-2. 6.5 minutes to go. We've just started off here and the Archers are on fire. Well, Tom, you said it from the start that they were going to trap, force the turnovers and try and get out and run, and that's exactly what they've done. We should have you on here every week.
Nostradamus over here. No, it's a key part of their identity. It's an effective way for them, even if you can't always get the trap. If you slow down the ball, you can take time off the shot clock, and at the higher levels of basketball, when you have the shot clock, it is a very effective strategy. You see it in international basketball a lot. There'll be full court pressing in some way, shape or form, whether it's man pressing, whether it's just to gently shadow. But here it's a really good example of when you've got height advantages across the board, how best to make the most of those. And if you can get some easy looks, everyone feels happy. If you run in a couple of laps, if you're Shannon Hatch, next time you're open, you've already scored twice, you're feeling good. The basketball player's mind it can be quite complex, but it's also quite simple. The more they score, the more likely they feel they are to score. So you get some easy shots, then that difficulty I've mentioned potentially on shooting at the hoop, it suddenly goes away when you've scored some easy ones.
Oh, fantastic! We've got the Archers coming back out here nice and quick. Ryan, do you think that they're going to be able to keep this up for the entire game? It just seems such an intense style of play.
It is, and like we said, that's only gonna suit Met. I mean, University of East London, just 7 players tonight. They're going to be absolutely exhausted in this game. Met are playing physical, tenacious, and if it continues, it's only going to benefit them.
And you're seeing it working right from the get-go, from the restart. A really nice press from Shannon Hatch up top. Laura Habling had to deal with the far ball, and they get to restart, and Laura Psyche gets to set up another play for this Archers offense. Here's Molly James looking for the give and go. Psyche catches, releases, and it's down. It's butter, Lauren Psyche. And stolen from the restart, Molly James. Shannon Hatch looking for Psyche. She's coming out across the left-hand side, looking to reset. Beautiful behind the back. Here's Molly James. Going back on herself. Lovely sidestep to penetrate the defense. Can't quite get the rebound. And East London here have a chance to get out in transition. And a referee calls a foul on Abigail Juncker. Well, that was unlucky from Lauren Psyche there. You can see just how she has the ball on a string, Ryan. I know that you've been paying close attention to her all season long.
Yeah.
She's just been fantastic. I mean, she's got a 50% assist rating for this entire team, hasn't she?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at her passing, 447 assists, second in program history for UCI. It's an astonishing record, and she knows what she's doing when she's out there.
Absolutely. She's got the ball on the string. It's unbelievable. Well, UEL, they missed their first. Let's see if they get their second. The crowd not letting up one bit. And they are unsuccessful on both occasions, but UEL can get the ball back. Cardiff need to make sure that they're not continuing in that fashion if they're going to sustain this lead for the rest of the game. Shannon Hatch with a rebound. Lauren Psyche getting the ball going again. Laura Habling inside. Looks to shoot from the mid-range. Just leaning right. So much energy from Shannon Hatch. She's right at the bottom. She's getting the rebound. She's jumping for the offensive rebound up here. I mean, this has got to take a toll. I understand that we're only 5 minutes into the first quarter, Tom, but surely this is going to take its toll. She can't play 30 minutes like this, surely.
I think you'd be surprised. Last week she played, I think it was at 37.5 minutes.
Unbelievable.
Saw her at shoot around earlier. She had plenty of energy then. There's two things. Shannon looks after herself very well.
Yeah.
But also she just loves the game of basketball. When you speak to her about basketball, It's clear how much she loves it, and that passion will give you plenty of stamina when you're running low on physical energy.
Well, maybe that's just me taking into account my knees rather than hers. I think she's probably working out a little more often than I am. Well, we've got 5 minutes left in this first quarter. It is 10-2 to Archers. Quite different from the 27 points that UEL scored in the first leg of this fixture. Let's see if the Archers can maintain this positive start. Ball's out to the right-hand side. Looks like we've had a substitution. Elise Ferguson is in. Laura Hadling with the screen, looking for Yonka. Number 6, Taylor Lambert also on. Abigail bounces out. Unfortunate. That was a good effort. Shannon Hatch remaining on the press at the front foot here. University of East London. There's Maggie Evans passing out to Denisa Bogdea. And again, it's a miss for University of East London. They can't get anything to go down. And there's the commentator's curse. What can you say about that? I do apologise to the Cardiff Met faithful. As soon as I open my mouth, the bucket goes down. Abigail bringing the ball up. Psyche and Shannon Hatch. Oh no, Shannon Hatch is still on, but Molly James and Lauren Psyche coming off. So the ball handling duties seem to have fallen to her. With good penetration. Just can't get it in off the backboard. Shannon Hatch, she fought for that. And Elise Ferguson can't get the ball to drop. Well, what an exciting couple of minutes there, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, that layup would probably drop on any other hooper here at Cardiff Met. I think the thing that Eloise Ferguson provides, she drives to the hoop strong.
Yeah.
So you know, when if they open up that lane for her and they don't want to commit fouls, she should be able to get to the hoop and either draw that foul or finish around the hoop.
Absolutely. It seems that they can pretty much do as they please. They're getting open from outside and they're getting inside. We've got another substitution. We've got Beth Jones on here for Laura Havling. It looks like we've given up our size. It looks like Shannon Hatch may, in fact, be forced to play centre for a minute here, Ryan. How do you think that's going to play out for the last 4 minutes?
Interesting, but I like it because she's still the biggest girl on the court.
Absolutely.
She'll use that size to her advantage. It's going to be interesting to see how she adapts.
Very strong defense there, and Abigail Yonka looks to bring the ball up again. She's slotted into that point guard role. Beth Jones collects herself. Can't find the run from Abigail Yonka. And there is a clear pass here for Janisa Bogdea. And she can't capitalise. Gets her own rebound and fails to score again. Okay, so we've got Eloise Ferguson pushing up Abigail Yonka now. Just past centre court. Shannon Hatch. They kick it out and they just about get the steal there, UEL. Bedoya moving it forwards. Maggie Evans with the 3. It bounces out again. We're getting a lot of missed shots in this quarter.
Bedoya's doing everything she can for UEL.
Absolutely.
Playing at a fantastic tempo, but she just can't get anything going.
Yeah. She is playing defense, she is running out in transition, and she is playmaking. It's just a shame that her teammates can't quite seem to cash in on the opportunities that she's giving them. We've got a few more substitutions, so we've had a full change here. All 5 that started have come out at some point, but Lauren Psyche has returned to the court. So it seems like they want to keep either Shannon Hatch or Lauren Psyche in the game at once. Is that because of leadership, Tom? Is that because of that presence on the court, or is it a tactical reason, do you believe?
I think it's both. It's slightly different types of leaders, but fundamentally, when you've got 5 WBBL players and then plenty, Sarah Wagstaff just come into the game, retired from WBBL last year, and then you've got National League level players beneath them. It's easier to spread that level of talent around. You always keep sort of 1 or 2 of your WBL players, 1 or 2 of your National League players, and you find that a lot easier to then get your, not weaker players, but players who aren't playing WBL, and you have a bit more of a balanced roster that way.
Yeah. Eloise Ferguson there couldn't keep the ball as she tried to penetrate. We've got Vanessa Bogdea, passes it to Shannon of a small. She can't get the layer for UEL, but they recover it. That's in. That's a lot of offensive rebounds we've had so far. That's at least 6 or 7 in this first quarter for UEL. I understand that we're trying to run out in transition, but the Archers need to do a better job of getting the ball off their own defensive glass. Otherwise, this lead is going to get away from them. What a finger roll from Lauren Psyche that was. The finesse on that, Tom.
A rare one though, where you spin it in, but Lauren Psyche practices that sort of weird finishing. She practices flipping her hands around. Yeah. She's almost like a cricket player or something sometimes with the way she's trying to spin the ball. But I think the Archers will probably be disappointed they've only scored. That's their first bucket in over 3 minutes.
Yeah.
They're small in inverted commas, but realistically they're still taller than the opposition. They're just not playing as hard defensively as UEL are. UEL has still got plenty of good basketball players in this team. You still have to do the right thing. You can't take your foot off the gas at any moment in Bucks Premier.
Absolutely. Lauren Psyche with great hustle to keep the ball in, and Eloise Ferguson can't get the layup to drop. You are right, the scoring is incredibly low. It's felt very dominant from the Archers, but it's just a 6-point margin between these two teams at 12-6. It's disappointing that we haven't seen more offensive prowess from these teams. And if you're wondering, whilst you're listening to this, how we're talking about this team being so small when you're used to Shannon Hatch and Izzy and Mara, you've got to understand that the teams playing today are slightly different from those you may be used to seeing on the WBBL live streams with us here.
And Dav, that's one of my concerns here. I think the Archers have played fantastic early on. Just that height difference, you've seen UEL crashing the glass offensively and defensively. And that's just the only chink in their armour at the moment.
Well, Eloise Ferguson got that second to drop, and that could be important as UEL can't maintain the ball. Lauren Psyche, no look pass. Oh, it's just unlucky there. Archers quick in defense to get back. That was fantastic. Sarah Wagstaff, that was fantastic. Hands up, didn't give away the foul. She was all alone, and that's a beautiful layup. Off the glass. It seems to be the way they're going today. So far, it's just really layups. They're not working with their jump shot too tough. And the referee, that's an 8-second violation. So that's the trap that you were talking about, Tom, in full effect. An 8-second violation is a perfect example of that high press trap, no?
Yeah, they came out and they didn't gamble on traps that they didn't think they could necessarily fully succeed on. Sometimes what you've got to do is bait them to keep passing the ball around. But also when you play a wing like Eloise Ferguson at the top, she's got that size. That means you can't pass the ball straight back over the top. And that was a perfectly executed one between the guards at the top there.
Okay, we've got just a minute left in this first quarter. Sarah Wagstaff with a powerful drive, and she draws the foul. She'll head to the line for 2. That was very good penetration, very good determination to get inside. That's what we need more of, a bit of aggression and a bit of grit.
The Archers are also drawing a lot of fouls, and as Tom was mentioning early on, when you've got a smaller squad, fouls are so crucial, especially here in the first quarter.
It could come back to bite UEL later on in this game. With only 2 players on their bench, they could end up playing the entire same lineup for the entire second half if they're not careful. Sarah Wagstaff, after that drive, is here. And she misses. Well, that's all right. We're going to get one more attempt. Score is currently 15-6. This is to take it to double digits. And she makes it. Nice form there from Sarah Wagstaff. And again, 3 Archers up in the opposition half. Forcing the pass is 3v2. UEL, they did very well there. And they drew the foul. Well, you've got to say, if you're a UEL fan, you've got to be happy with the way they dealt with that. A perfect 3v2. They get the foul, they get the and one, and instantly regain the points that they've given away in the past couple of possessions.
I think the key for them there was getting the ball down the middle of the floor. When you play almost any form of press, the ball in the middle of the floor is the biggest weakness defensively. It means you can pass anywhere. They weren't able to force them to the sideline enough. It opened up the pass straight down the middle, and unfortunately, Eloise Ferguson had to commit an and one foul. Maybe she could have defended that better, but realistically, the ball shouldn't be allowed to get into that situation.
Well, they couldn't contain the ball there. We've also had another substitution. We've got Scarlett Lindsay in now as well. So we've got Beth Jones, Scarlett Lindsay, Lauren Psyche, Sarah Wagstaff. And UEL again with the offensive rebound, but can't capitalize. 2 offensive rebounds in the same possession.
That for me is purely a lack lack of trying there from the Archers. They're not staying around. I think, especially when you're smaller. If you in the women's game, if you're 6'5", you just go up and get it. No one can stop you. It's the same if you have a 7-footer in the men's game. You don't have to worry about the fundamentals. You just go get the ball. For when you're a smaller player, especially a guard, you have to be looking to get the old school box out in, make contact with anyone, just throw them around a little bit, get a bit physical, create some space, and then someone has to have that desire to come in. I just don't think they've shown it there.
So you think in that instance it was a lack of effort rather than a lack of size?
Yeah, I think you have to have that commitment to defensive rebounding as a team. It's not necessarily easy when you're trying to balance multiple roles, and maybe you're not used to being the one who goes to get the rebound, especially as you guys are saying, in WBL they're a lot bigger, so Mara will go get a lot of the boards, Izzy will go get a lot of the boards. And Laura Habling, when she comes in, she would get a lot of rebounds.
Absolutely.
It's about making sure that you are going for it and as a team and know your strategy on that.
We've got 7 seconds here, and Lauren Psyche draws the foul. It looks like she was looking to kick that ball out there. She drove with about 7 or 8 seconds remaining, and she couldn't get the pass off and drew the foul instead. She'll head to the line for 2. If she makes these, it will be a 10-point lead for the Archers going in at the end of the first quarter, unless UEL can capitalize in transition. Well, like you said before, Ryan, the Archers will take this in comparison to the first game, but in the context of this game alone, I think they've got to be disappointed that they're not further ahead.
Definitely. I mean, when you look back at that last game, the Archers scored 24 points in the first half. I mean, they've scored 16 here. They've had plenty of missed opportunities from the free throw line. But you would think that they'd like to have a bigger lead than what they have.
Lauren Psyche on the second attempt. Unfortunately, she misses that one as well. Oh, and a desperate throw from Beth Jones to end the first quarter. So we've got an 8-point lead for the Archers. Unfortunately, it's not more, but you must say that it is a much better performance than the last time these two face each other. So, what's your summary of that then, Ryan? If you could put that into a sentence or two, how would you say that went?
Not the best start from it, but it's certainly not the worst. They drew fouls when necessary. Some missed layups, some missed free throws. Some of the necessaries perhaps wasn't there, but listen, it's a much better job than what we've seen before. So they definitely can't be disappointed in that sense.
Well, they've gone small. We've mentioned it quite a few times already, and there's nothing that we notice more than when Shannon Hatch left the game. It seemed to have a big effect, Tom. It looked like they were scoring pretty freely, but then she goes out, and you mentioned it yourself, a 3-minute period passes with no scoring at all. So do the Archers need to work out something stylistically to enable scoring from their other players? Or is this, like you said before, a lack of effort from those outside of Shannon Hatch herself?
I wouldn't necessarily say they're not trying. They're just, I don't think they're 100% sure where they're trying to score.
Yeah.
That you can never know what sort of team you're going to be going up against at any one point, especially in Bucks, where you don't have the team list in advance or anything like that. You can do a bit of scouting. Yeah. But I think fundamentally, they've got their set patterns. They're trying to score in transition. They're just not 100% sure where their main looks are coming from. They haven't really run their motion offense for long periods of time.
It doesn't look very composed, does it?
They haven't milked the clock probably for long enough. If they can go through 2-3 rotations of the ball, especially against a smaller team that will tire, especially as the game goes on, if you can make the UEL play 20 seconds of defense every time rather than 10, they will tire, and then that will be the key to breaking down. You just got to make them work. Longer closeout, more open shots as they go. That's the key for the Archers.
Absolutely, and those second chance opportunities of the offensive glass for UEL seem to have a huge impact on their confidence. So we're about to get back into this game. We've got Lara Habling in, we've got Abigail Juncker, we've got Scarlett Lindsay and Lauren Psyche. UEL looking to generate points right from the get-go. Can't quite find the pass. She manages to stay in there. And it's UEL ball off the leg of Scarlett Lindsay, I believe that was.
It was very nearly a turnover from UEL, one that they wouldn't want to commit.
Absolutely. Risky move.
Fortunate to still have the ball in this situation.
Got to have a good defensive play. Referee calls a foul before the shot, I believe that was.
Scarlett Lindsay just turned her body on that drive.
Right.
She was in a pretty good position, but the moment you turn your shoulder and you don't present basically the full face of your chest, you are liable to be pinged at any one point. And this comes into knowing the referees as well. I know what these referees are likely to call, and I think that's where you've got to think about how you defend certain actions. That's relatively advanced stuff. I'm not saying I can do it when I'm playing, but that comes into the equation.
And Abigail Janka releases the 3, and that's exactly what you want to get this going. So we are at 19 to 10. UEL coming back up the court. And more of a hit and hope 3 there. She didn't really have any space. She seemed to have options. Ego challenge, perhaps. Lara Habling getting the ball going again.
So I think that shot, again, perfectly emphasises the point of these hoops are very different.
Yeah.
If you watch the WBL game against Derwent Hill, you come down any Wednesday or weekend, shots don't bounce that high off the traditional rims. It's just the nature of using different height-type rims, and that's, again, something you have to adapt to. Your rebounds will go further, but you've got to think about your shot selection.
That was a fantastic drive by Molly James there, drawing the foul. Getting to the foul line pretty consistently here, the Archers, but they can't seem to knock them down. They need to be shooting a better clip from the free throw line, otherwise it will catch up with them in the end. This is a strong lineup, it looks like here. Back to our starters: Molly James, Shannon Hatch, Lauren Psyche, Abigail Janka, and Lara Habling. Molly James first is up, and first one is missing. A bit of an early release there.
For me, going back to the starters at this point says that Steph Collins isn't really happy with how it's going, and she's going back to what she basically perceives to be her 5 best players. It's not necessarily how you always do a starting lineup, but in this case, it's not far away from your 5 best players, and she'll be expecting them to go out and execute exactly what she spoke about in that quarter break.
Absolutely, looking for system proficiency here. Shannon Hatch regained the ball and managed to get it in from that mid-range corner again, but no. UEL getting out and running. Shannon Hatch with a great defensive position and managed to stop the shot, but again it's an offensive rebound. Molly James coming up in transition. Once again, the question of composure. Abigail Janka can't make it 2 from 2, and that's just far too lackadaisical from Lara Habling. When the game is as close as this, they should not be taking risks like that. An offensive rebound is an important chance to get some free points, Ryan.
Yeah, I thought that was a good look for Janka there, actually. I mean, when we're looking at her time at Wittenberg, she was a great three-point shooter in the division. It's not perhaps worked out so well for her in the WBBL from the three-point line, but she's won a 3 here tonight. She made that one there. I thought that was a good look, but that's something that I think she'll be looking to progress in the next few games.
I can understand why she took it. It's very similar to the one she just made. And we're going to get a side out here for UEL after a travel call on Lauren Psyche as she regained possession. So, Bedoya bringing the ball up again for UEL. She had a chance for a breather and is back out. The exact same shot from the exact same player in the exact same position. The Archers are really ensuring that they are limiting the options for UEL, so they're settling for poor jump shots from far away. Molly James bringing the ball up. Lauren Psyche seems to have an ocean of space. Found off the pick. Abigail Janka in that same spot. Molly James. Can she drive? She can, but the miss off the backboard. Bedoya looking ahead. Shannon Hatch gets a hand on the ball and she's able to recover the steal. Abigail Janka, nice handle there. Shannon Hatch central. She's not going to miss that. She's not going to miss. She's so consistent down low, isn't she, Tom?
Yeah, she's also probably the tallest player in the game, but she works so hard on her craft that she shouldn't be missing that, and she's very unlikely to.
Yeah. UEL. Well, this time the 3 goes down, and that is typical. There, we didn't quite see the same amount of pressure. A beautiful no-look pass from Lauren Psyche. Lara Habling drops that in, completely uncovered, completely unmarked. She gave them the eyes. Lauren Psyche. What did you call her before? Silky Psyche?
Silky Psyche. The key to Lauren Psyche's no-look passes is she genuinely doesn't look.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to stare towards the player, and as they let go of the ball, suddenly turn their head and pretend. She genuinely knows exactly where they're going to be. She'll completely turn her head, and it's a legitimate no-look pass, and she seems to do it multiple times a game. It's quite something.
So you're our basketball expert for the afternoon. Is that intuition, or is that just time spent with your teammates that you know where they're going to be?
I think it's both. Not every player is capable of doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You have to spend a lot of time thinking about the game, but it's also knowing that in general basketball sense, someone should be running that lane, someone should be running that lane. At the high levels, you might have specific people going to very specific places.
Yeah.
But that's something that not many of the team are doing. You know, a lot of the team would probably look that way and make sure they get it right, but Lauren knows that if she turns her head maybe towards the right in that instance, the defender will follow her a little bit right.
Yes.
They don't have to go very far, but you know, at the highest level, you're only looking for a margin of 6 inches to a foot in a person's movement before you know whether or not that pass should be on. So it's a real high-level detail there from Lauren Psyche.
That was fantastic pass. Let's look at this just one more time. Abigail Younker's 3 there. Well, we ran on the wrong highlight, but that's okay. It was good to see that 3 again. Her form is fantastic on that. So we're looking to get the game back started again. The score is 23-13. We're back in a double-digit position here. Coach Collins on the sideline giving instructions to Molly James. Instructing her to press forward, push harder. 4 UEL players in their own half, and Molly James putting that instruction into practice. Ryan, what do you make of that?
Yeah, it's fantastic for a Met. Straight out the blocks, and it's at a high intensity.
Yeah. Oh, it's another 3.
And I think that's what will disappoint the Archers at this point. They played reasonably well, but it's still just a 9-point lead, and it should be a lot more.
Well, it's all one undecided on the defensive end. That's what they say. And it seems to be that they're just about getting away with it at the moment, the Archers. Molly James with a 3 as her own. Referee calls UE ball.
And that looked to me to be an Archer's ball.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that came off the fingertips of Bedoya. Shannon Hatch defending the ball on the entry pass here. Got Maggie Evans passing out. He's Elizabeth Eason with the drive, the bucket, and the foul. Well, this is just phenomenal. You've got to say from UEL, this is a really good performance in this quarter. They've really bounced back. They're really putting everything they can into this. We've got 6 minutes to go. We're just about coming up to halfway through, and they've brought the scoreline back close. If they get this and 1, it will be just a 6-point lead, Ryan. What do you think the Archers have to do to ensure that this doesn't slip away from them?
It just has to be better on the defensive end. I mean, it's uncharacteristic from the Archers offensively as well. They're usually a team that scores a lot of points. We've seen it in the previous Bucks games. Tonight, it just hasn't gone their way. They should have scored more points. They have been unlucky with a lot of layups. But listen, UEL has been better with jump shots. They've found more success, and definitely in this quarter.
I mean, they are a depleted roster today, but this team is unbeaten in the Bucks Premierships this season so far. So we should not be expecting an easy game here, no matter how few subs they have. Lauren Psyche with the rebound. Shannon Hatch with the run ahead. And the easy lay. That's getting out in transition, just like you were saying earlier, Tom. Lauren Psyche knows exactly that someone should be there so she can make the early pass.
And she knows Shannon Hatch is a willing runner, and half of squad in transition is just being willing to really sprint the floor. Not only that, but if someone was to follow Shannon Hatch, there's another player following right afterwards. It's got to be almost a team effort in transition. And I think that's the nature, especially playing on here with a small lineup, with these long rebounds or these high rebounds. It gives players who aren't involved in that rebounding battle either time to get there or time to go. So the ball goes miles away from Shannon Hatch there. She knows she can just get out and run. Either her team's going to get the ball, all right, she can get it, or they're just going to score straight away and she'd have had no chance. It's almost like a free hit there for Shannon to just go out and get 2 points.
Absolutely. Easy points. So we've got 2 subs coming on there. We've got Eloise Ferguson and Sarah Wagstaff entering the game. Just in case you didn't catch that, there was a brilliant effort from Shannon Hatch on that defensive rebound, and she was fouled, and that's why we're restarting at the goal line for the Archers.
And Hatch, she just does a bit of everything. Defensively, offensively, she seems complete.
Can you think of perhaps a player comparison in the NBA that our viewers might be more used to?
Well, she reminds me of someone like Kawhi Leonard, who can do it on both ends, plays a similar position, in a forward position. That's what springs to mind immediately.
What a pass that was. It was a fantastic run. Off-ball movement from Abigail Juncker was fantastic. Shannon Hatch and Sarah Wagstaff very happy with that. And we will be headed to the line for the Archers for 2 more, trying to regain that 10-point lead. How important is off-ball movement if you're going to be looking for these outside shots, Tom?
Yeah, there's all, to get outside shots, you either have to be an incredibly good outside shooting team, which the Archers have got plenty of sharpshooters, but then it's not quite Steph Curry range across the board.
Of course.
So you've got to look to put pressure on the rim. If you can put pressure on the rim, the defense has to collapse. So there they run a back pick for Abigail Juncker to go towards the hoop. If the defense follows her, someone can pop for the shot. If she gets it and they all collapse, she can kick out. It's really important to make sure that the hoop is put under a lot of pressure, and it gives that space for shooters to let fly.
Well, that was fantastic effort again from Shannon Hatch. She's been phenomenal with the steal early, and there's another steal. Lara Habling finding Shannon Hatch, and it's in.
Lovely bank shot.
Lovely bank shot. 6 very quick points for the Archers. It's 32-18. UEL trying to recover here, slowing it down. Bodea directing her teammates.
Seems as if Talia Shannon Hatch is just starting to warm up in this fixture.
Absolutely. Bodea comfortable down low. And there's a block from Shannon Hatch. What a performance we're seeing here in this first half. Lara Habling looking for some movement. Couldn't quite pull off the pass to Eloise Ferguson.
On that action, the first person basically goes towards the hoop, and almost the primary action is the second action there, where Shannon Hatch was coming up to shoot. I think Lara Habling would have been better off waiting there, especially if Shannon's just scored a couple of layups, got plenty of stops. I can imagine that three's going down.
I think it's slightly unfair for us. She was doing that run right in front of our eyes, so we saw it very clearly.
And it's easy for me to say from here, but I'm not the one out there who's having to play under the pressure. So I don't. Eloise Ferguson was open under the hoop, so it was a fair enough look as well. I just probably would be always looking for Shannon Hatch if I was playing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she's a bad option tonight. So the ball there, we're coming back in with a UEL.
They're going man pressure here.
Long pass. Bodea.
Looks like she stepped over the line there.
Oh, I thought she was flexing some Nikola Jokic skills. But she took a step over the line. That's a violation.
A great pass nonetheless.
And a great pass nonetheless. And we're taking a timeout here. The score is 32-18, a 14-point lead for the Archers. That's been a great couple of minutes, hasn't it, Ryan? I mean, you said it yourself, Shannon Hatch seems to be cultivating everything on the defensive end and the offensive end. How impressive has she been?
Well, last year's MVP. She's in her 3rd year here at Cardiff, but last year she led the team in games played, minutes, points, rebounds, steals, you name it. So, listen, she's a fantastic addition to this team. She's the cornerstone of this team, but yeah, terrific player, and she's really, really, really warming into this fixture now.
Can I just hear you say that again? She led the team in games, minutes,
points, rebounds, steals. So, like I said, it's on both ends of the court.
Oh my goodness. That's fantastic. How much confidence does that give you, Tom? I mean, I know you're a coach, so do you push towards these kind of star players, if you want to call them that? Does that give confidence to the others, or do you have to almost cater for the others because you know Shannon Hatch is going to deal with it?
I think when you're the mental side of it is making sure that everyone feels valuable. Most players are fairly realistic. Every player thinks they're slightly better than they are. That's probably better that way than anything else. So these guys know that Shannon is the best player, but they also know that their role is important in helping Shannon fulfill hers. And they know that Shannon helps them fulfill theirs as well. So they know if Shannon gets all the attention, they'll get more open looks. But they also know if they work hard to get Shannon scores, she's quite likely to knock them down. If you've got a game-changing offensive talent, in the way that almost Lauren Psyche is, and the way she does it with the ball, defenses get bent towards Lauren Psyche, and that opens it up for those other players. So if they've got Lauren and Shannon in a pick and roll, then all the other help defenders are thinking, I've got to get across there. Either Lauren Psyche scoring in the paint, Shannon's scoring in the paint, Shannon's popping. That means that shooters everywhere else will be wide open. So it's that sort of ecosystem. It's going to force the defense
to collapse, isn't it? And just create that spacing.
That ecosystem that everyone can benefit off.
Okay, so restarting here. Abigail Juncker,
nice
quick
action.
Three. And it's down.
Nice action. Nice little elevator screen out of the timeout there.
Yeah.
If you notice, it's like elevator doors. The two screens closed at the top on the free throw line.
Yeah.
Abigail Juncker, plenty of time. Really nice action.
But they're strong down low, but Shannon Hatch is able to retain it. She's got Juncker on the run here. She chooses to go to Eloise Ferguson, and the ball goes out, but it's Archer's ball. It's Archer's ball. Well, if we can get another play like that from the restart, we'll be very happy. From what I've seen so far this season, this looks like a Shannon Hatch mid-range to me.
They're trying the same play. What's the second look?
Yeah, pulls up.
That's not bad.
It goes straight down. She is on fire. This first half, she has stolen the show. Abigail Junker's had a very good game. I don't want to gloss over that three because that was a very good finish, don't you think, Ryan?
Oh yeah, I was just about to say, but feeding back to Abigail Juncker, I mean, she does it on both ends as well. Great defensive stats. We've seen that with the WBBL side. But listen, she's let's say a 3-and-D kind of player.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we've seen it with her 2 threes here in the second quarter. So really, really impressive.
And even though she's shooting in the 30% from the field this season, she has been known to shoot far higher before. So it's maybe just warming up as the year goes on. Maybe a game like this can really get her confidence going.
I mean, she's an experienced player as well. We look at her 5 years in Wittenberg and, yeah, 98 games played.
Yeah.
She is a player with experience, and that's what she brings to this Archers team.
Ball goes out there off Maisie Horrobin, who's just come in. Maybe just a little cold off the bench.
I think Sarah Wagstaff owned up to the pass on that one. And as a fellow big to Maisie, I'll always blame the pass rather than the big. That's for sure.
Trapping again, but the Archers need to get back, otherwise they're going to leave space. And Abigail Juncker with a very good rebound there.
It's quite a big lineup at this point with Wagstaff and Ferguson running as the potential wings and Hatch and Horben. So it's a slightly different style of play we'll probably see at these couple of minutes.
Yeah, of course, Eloise pulls up from 3, and it's a long rebound all the way back to the corner. We've got UEL pushing forward. That was a nice bucket from Maggie Evans. You've got to say that was very nice in transition, but might it be too little, too late? The Archers are starting to run away with it. A 17-point lead as we go into a timeout here with 2 minutes and 36 seconds to go. So is that what they need to be doing? Do you think they need to double down on this transition play, UEL, if they're going to get back into it? Or what else can they do? I mean, with only 7 players and all players that seem to be, they want to have the ball in their hands, they want to be playing active ball. What else can they do? If they're not going to run out, I don't see how they're going to break down this Archers defense if they play slow and composed.
It's a difficult task anyway, but you know, when you're given these natural disadvantages, it becomes even harder to especially in this game. It's going to be incredibly difficult to get back into it now. The Archers have built a 17-point lead. In the second quarter, they've been a far better team, but I think it was just a case of finding their feet in this game, warming up.
All right, so we're looking at that Abigail Juncker 3 from the top of the key. She's been fantastic this afternoon. And Shannon Hatch there with that mid-range. I'm quite proud that I called that one. She's so good from there. She leads the WBBL in mid-range efficiency this year. It's kind of a lost art. I think that Kawhi Leonard is a good NBA comparison for Shannon Hatch because she loves to go to that spot in the mid-range.
I think you know, if you can score from somewhere, it's good. 3 is obviously worth more than 2, but fundamentally, putting the ball in the hoop is worth more than not putting the ball in the hoop. So you go to where you're most comfortable, and you know, if you can't necessarily fit to the offensive structure, you'll play a bit less, but you've got to shoot where you're comfortable from.
Absolutely. But they are there, showing off the handle, and she chose a foul.
I think she's doing everything she can. She's providing grit for UEL.
Yeah. Going
forward. You know, she's doing her best. You see it there with the handles, but
that was fantastic to get out the press in her own half court, and then she gets up and draws the foul on the other end. I mean, her coach must be so happy. She's putting in a shift and a half.
We've even seen it, you know, crashing the offensive boards earlier on in the game. She's doing all she can.
That's a nice shot there, but Abigail Juncker comes away, and the pass is just a little behind. Shannon Hatch tries to regain possession, but Bodea goes up. Oh, ignored the shooter in the corner there. Elizabeth Isan went for it herself. And we've got Sarah Wolfstaff with a nice behind the back pass. Shannon Hatch in the corner. Can't quite get it in either. You've got to get up off the floor there, Abigail Yanka, and rejoin the defense. But they are looking to penetrate. Feels the contact and shoots straight away. I think she may have deceived the referees there. I think that foul may have been before the shot. How much control does that player really have? When people say the players buy a foul sometimes, how much of that's really true? How much of it is just people overanalyzing the game, perhaps?
It's very true. And Sarah Wagstaff on the Arch team is a very good proponent of not necessarily buying a foul. You know, she knows how to draw contact.
Okay.
You know, it's called a non-contact sport. It's not a non-contact sport.
Of course.
But it's about making sure that when you do think someone may be about to do something illegal, really making sure that you get in. So if you see an arm coming in, you get your arm into theirs. It'll be their foul. They weren't going to touch you. If you can force them to do something illegal, that's where the really great players come into play, because they've got such fine body control.
Well, Bodea did get the foul, but she couldn't capitalize on either free throw. Shannon Hatch passed up to Beth Jones, but the ball was lost, and she's having to defend down low now. Can she box out? Yes, but that's a nice pull-up shot from Bodea. Doing everything. Doing absolutely everything. Abigail Juncker again with the ball handling responsibilities with Lauren Psyche on the bench. Shannon Hatch down low. Lovely fake pass. Abigail Juncker at the top of the key. Everyone just kind of standing around for the Archers on this play. No real movement. Beth Jones with a heave. And that drops down from the corner. It is 40-22. They are back up to 18 points. Bodea steps back. And Beth Jones getting a rebound. A nice outlet pass to Shannon Hatch. Oh! Well, I'd have bet my mortgage she'd have made that. But it's lucky Sarah Wagstaff was there to back her up.
I think Beth Jones would be quite upset you called that a heave.
Oh, well, I do apologise. Her form may be slightly less attractive, shall we say. Shannon Hatch just off.
Issa Natchez coming and provided a lot of energy just in these last minute and a half.
Oh, yes. I didn't even realise she'd come on. My apologies. Abigail Yanka finds Sarah Wagstaff from three. That was beautiful. And that is halftime. What a final minute from the Archers. We've got 45-22, a 23-point lead. What a difference than the last time these two teams met. It is a fantastic game for Shannon Hatch. We will see you when we are back. Thank you very much. use these rims in that case. Should we get rid of them?
On the show court, there's no choice. A part of it comes down to psychological as well. It's almost like it's a myth that keeps getting perpetuated.
Of course.
But once you see a couple go through, as we've seen from Shannon Hatch, and Abigail Juncker, once it goes through, you feel comfortable. So it's a little bit physical, yes. But fundamentally, if you switch it, and there's no issues at all. So that would be my advice.
Psychology within basketball has always been enormous. And UEL come back out in the second half the way they started in the first, getting the offensive boards and putting in the easy layup. Abigail Junker's left completely wide open there, takes the early three, and they don't get to punish UEL for that poor defense. Bedoya here with the ball, as usual, as it felt in that first half. A quick three taken. Shannon Hatch gets the rebound. Molly James. With this set of 5, like we started out with the lineups, you've got 4 players you're completely comfortable with controlling the ball, bringing the ball up. You've got Psyche, James, Juncker, and Shannon Hatch. Of course, Lara Havling is a competent ball handler, but maybe you wouldn't want her bringing up the ball. You maybe want her getting ready under the post, setting a screen. But this gives us so many options, doesn't it, Ryan? I mean, 4 players who can control the ball.
Exactly, and they've all got individual qualities, they all have individual games, and I think, you know, it's great for Steph Collins to have those options here for her available on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know.
Especially when you consider the players who aren't playing tonight.
Exactly, I mean, we've got 6 WBBL players here tonight, which is fantastic to see as well.
Molly James with the 3 there. She took one earlier. Luckily, Archers maybe took a play from the UEL playbook, and there they go back to what they were doing in the first half. The steals, and Molly James feeling herself maybe, chose to drive, ignored Lauren Psyche wide open at that 3-point line. I don't think Psyche would have done the same thing to her, Tom.
I think she probably got fouled on that bit. It's one of those awkward ones where one referee is blinded by her body and then the other referee was blinded by the positioning of a defender. So one of those ones where it's a missed call, but referees don't have X-ray vision. It just happens.
Well, again there, we had 2 offensive rebounds. So that's 3 already in this first half. Archers really getting after it on the boards. A big difference from the first half. And there, though they couldn't make it happen the first 2 occasions, the fact that they put the effort in and got the second chance points and then the third chance attempt, they ended up getting 2. It's 50-26 and there was a foul. We will be headed to the line. Number 9, Maggie Evans for UEL.
We're just going back to that Havlin bucket. I mean, it's good to see her scoring again in 3 out of 4 of the WBBL games. She hasn't actually scored. She got 10 against the Durham Palatinites. But listen, it's good to see her scoring again for the Archers.
Yeah, she had a big role in that Durham game. I mean, Mara Machizotti was in a lot of foul trouble and she had to play, I think, more minutes than Steph Collins would have expected. And today, with Mara not playing in this Cup Premiership game, she's playing a lot of minutes and she's been very, very good so far.
I mean, listen, even if she's not scoring, she provides something just a little different in this team.
Absolutely.
As we mentioned, the quality of Psyche and Hatch.
Oh, that's a tough hit there taken by Abigail Juncker. So side out, UEL, unnecessary contact called by the referee on Abigail Juncker. She was going for that. There was no malicious there. She was really going for the ball. UEL again using that off-ball movement to get free. Shannon Hatch trying to force a mistake, but they find the open 3. The rebound for Lara Havling is unsuccessful. For a 3rd time? They got 3 offensive rebounds there. Well, they started out good, Tom, but they seem to be regressing instantly, these Archers.
Yeah, a couple of sort of fluky ones potentially, but you don't want to let it be a habit. You know, Laura Havling had the ball, and as she turned, it just somehow got ripped clean off her. It's one of those ones where if you let it become a thing, then you need to start being a bit more worried about it.
Does that come down to grip strength, or is that being outworked by your opponent?
I wouldn't put it down to either. Potentially, I think it's one of those fluke ones that sometimes happens. If it happens another couple of times, then it would absolutely be a combination of those 2. But as it stands, I don't want to cast any aspersions on how hard she works in the gym.
Fair enough. Lauren Psyche misses the 3 and then gets the rebound after missing her defensive assignment there. Abigail Juncker down low. Shannon Hatch finds Molly James. sidestep to get open, but missed. And here we go again. Bedoya, we were mentioning Bedoya in that first half. She seemed to be everywhere. But then we checked the stat line. She only had 6 points. Lauren Psyche. Well, I think she'll take that in the end. Was that trying to go back off the backboard?
No, she
surely not.
I think she just missed that one. It looked like it could potentially have been a travel, but I think it was either travel or one of the best exponents of footwork I've ever seen in my life. I can't quite tell if she was taken her 2 steps about to dribble, then picked up and gained possession. But no, she was definitely trying to score that, and that's why when you go out in transition, even if it looks like an easy layup, you must get back and you must follow, because you don't want to be as a defensive team is someone miss a layup in transition and you could have secured that. And the same thing if you could go and get an easy one just by following up. And Abigail Younger picks up an and one opportunity just out of hustling.
Nice play there to get the ball free to Kaldisha, who misses the 3. But they recover again. It's these long rebounds. People say, you know, the more threes you get, the more rebounds you get. The ball travels further when you put more pace on the ball, and that allows for teams that don't really hit the glass too hard to recover the ball a little easier. Molly James at the top of the key, finding Lauren Psyche, directing players ahead of her. Abigail Younger thought about shooting, goes for the pass. That was a bad miscommunication there. Lauren Psyche can't really get in the way without fouling. So they reset and they go again. Archers at 53-31. Abigail Younger comes to Molly James. Habling finds Hatch. Beautiful movement. And Younger can't nail the wide open 3.
It's a shame that didn't fall. I mean, good open look. Great ball movement from the Archers. As we say, it's a shame it just didn't connect.
Great vision from Shannon Hatch. She got that down low. I thought she was going straight up for the layup. I was half ready to say the words, and the pass came off so quickly. Bodea there. A finger roll.
That is tough. That is so tough. Molly James played great defense there.
Yeah.
That is such a tough finish. Credit to Bodea. Against this zone defense, what we've seen from the Archers when it first came out is that they were playing a little bit too high in the low post areas.
Right.
Obviously, I don't have a telestrator here. I can't draw it. But when you play as an attacker in the same line as the back of the defense, you make it a bit easier for them. Shannon Hatch dropped lower, and that really opened it up. It forced the defense to drop back. Then there was space for Lara Habling, and then they were able to have the kick out. If you stay too congested in those post areas, it can be a bit easy to defend. So they need to drop to the level of the baseline and try and stay a little bit higher in the high post. They're getting a little bit congested. If they get that baseline thing right, they'll be absolutely fine.
Well, Lauren Psyche and Shannon Hatch have gone to the bench. We've got Eloise Ferguson and who else going on there? Sarah Wagstaff. My apologies. So it was a nice little bucket there for 2 points for the Archers, and now we'll get to restart after the UVL miss. Havling again, Abigail Younger taking over the point guard responsibilities. And we find Wagstaff into Lara Habling. Nice drop of the shoulder, good pass. Wagstaff finds the open Habling. Nothing but net. She hit the threes very similar like that in the Durham game. If she can get going from outside, that's going to be a huge advantage for these Archers.
Once again, it's exceptional ball movement from Cardiff. Having drains the bucket.
A foul there.
He's got a backcourt violation, I think, rather than a...
It was a strange spin
foul
from Bodea. I wasn't expecting it.
I'm not sure whether or not she'd got fully... You can't exactly see that, the halfway line.
Yeah,
I don't think she'd completely gone either way, but it was such a fine line there, potentially, that you can understand the referee seeing someone fully behind it and someone nearly over it.
Yes,
it's difficult to be 100% sure in that situation. I think I'd probably go the other way, but you can't really blame them.
No, not at all. We've got Taylor Lambert in towards Lara Habling. Finds Sarah Wagstaff, and she can't hit the rim. Bodea looking to create again behind the back. There's coming up now with Mackenzie. And the ball is won back Abigail Juncker brings it up after a great defensive play. She's got a teammate to her left and almost in off the backboard.
It's a very unselfish cut there by Lara Habling in a 3v2 situation. She realised the defender was in the right place to defend her. She just ran towards the other side of the rim, and that left Taylor Lambert wide open. That's a really unselfish bit of play from Lara Habling, and you don't get any credit for that in the stats.
Of course.
But when you go back and watch that in the tape, or the coach has seen it, that's when you know the player understands basketball and they're doing the right thing there.
Another change for the Archers. We've got Beth Jones coming in for Lara Habling, giving her a break. She's been doing a lot of work down low inside the paint. Beth Jones hit a 3, if you remember, early on. Hopefully she can get that going again. A perfect free throw from Eloise Ferguson.
They're going to press in this situation on the basis that Beth Jones is in as one of the nominal bigs, and she's not as mobile as someone like Taylor Lambert or Abigail Juncker, so it looks like they're going to press here.
Well, they've done it straight away, and Beth Jones recovers. Steph Collins putting theory into practice. Beth Jones, like you said, a big, but they're quite happy to bring the ball up.
Yeah, Beth's got quite a sort of a multi-dimensional skill set in that regard. She's not got the size of a traditional big, but when she was younger, she played a lot of guard.
Right.
And she's a very smart player as well, so she knows her strengths and she also knows her weaknesses, and that's quite key in a player.
Uriel looking to penetrate here. That was a travel, I believe. Referee calls the foul.
Certainly look to travel from here.
Yeah. Yeah, referee calls a shooting foul. We're going to get 2 here. I saw 4 steps. I'm happy to claim that. Well, the Archers are up by 25. They won't be too disappointed here. Oh, the UEL coach seems rather unhappy with the call.
I think his argument is that he believes that she'd picked up the ball before she got fouled, therefore she's in her shooting motion. I think potentially the referees have decided that she hadn't yet picked the ball up, or she travelled before she got the shot off. So after the foul, you don't really have a free pass to just travel.
Of course.
So it's a bit of a 50-50 bang-bang one there, I think.
So that's why we had the restart rather than the 2 points attempted from the free throw line. Abigail Juncker at the top of the key looking to create a gain. Travel called by the referee.
But once again, it was another steal for Abigail Juncker. Defensively, she's been so good here for the Archers.
Well, he saw that travel. So number 13, we've got Jalisha Cadogan. Passing it out, she receives it again. Eloise Ferguson got to use that longer frame. Very good defending. Archer's ball. You've got to give credit for that. That was fantastic. She got right in the face of the opponent. Didn't give away a foul. Fantastic.
She was probably closer to drawing an offensive foul on that situation. It looked like a bit of a clear out, but a fantastic stand and really good sort of lateral movement there.
Oh, and we're open from the left-hand side. Can't get the rebound. Bodea pushing in. She wants to pull up.
Nice.
That was a very smooth transition pull-up. Abigail Juncker. Same movement there. Eloise Ferguson looking for some help. Taylor Lambert, second straight 3. Nice pass from Beth Jones there. Abigail Juncker repositions to the 3-point line. And we've had a whistle. Are we headed to the free throw line here? No, side out. I didn't really see anything too wrong there.
I mean, I didn't necessarily see the contact. Easy for me to say, but when you put your hand across or you go for a bit of a gamble, you always leave yourself at the mercy of the officials. So it's one of those ones where even if you get the ball, sometimes it depends on the angle of the referee or you know how sometimes how the game's gone or how sort of chippy the game might be. You always leave yourself at risk. So it's one of those ones where you have to accept the consequences sometimes.
They have actually decided that it was in the shooting motion with the foul.
I think team fouls by the looks of it on the far side. So
I see.
I think they were just discussing there. Was that the foul that put it into the bonus?
Into the bonus.
Yeah.
I see. Unfortunate there for UEL. They're going to have to be very careful for the remainder of this quarter. Just under 2 minutes to go. Looking to regain some pride here. Nearly got that ball there, Abigail Juncker. Very good strength from UEL, both in the initial attempt and in the offensive rebound. But that's fantastic box out for the Archers. Abigail Juncker driving, nice and calm. Didn't go up for the early easy shot. Archers retain the ball. That was Maisie Horrobin, who's not played too much today, but when she's come in, she has made an impact. Having Beth Jones, Wagstaff and Horrobin in does bring an element of length that the Archers don't have with them off the court. All right, so we've got that beautiful shot from Molly James earlier. And that came from the offensive rebound from Lara Havling. Lauren Psyche with what I thought might have been an off the backboard pass, but I think was just a miss, unfortunately.
I think she'll claim it. I don't think I'm going to believe her.
And look at that, Lara Havling for the big. She's happy shooting from outside. And Wagstaff there with perfect free throws. You can take those to your coaching lessons, Tom, and teach everyone to shoot just like that.
Yeah, I'm sure she probably tries as well. Sarah Wagstaff made a sort of an 18-year top-level career out of that.
Absolutely.
She played for so long in the WBBL and one of the club leaders in points across the board, but also definitely in free throws. A real strength of her game was driving to the hoop and often getting fouled. A master of, like we discussed earlier, manipulating the contact and kind of forcing the defense to do something they don't want to do.
Yeah, so even though she's in a different part of her career, perhaps, she does still have a very essential role to play here on the Archers.
Yeah, and certainly as you get older, obviously the legs don't go quite as fast, but you have that knowledge of where to be, and if you should be there already, so you don't need the speed to get there. But certainly you've seen all of the defenses, you've seen the offenses, you know how to run all the patterns.
We're going to get an Archers restart here again. They did attempt to get the ball out to Abigail Juncker, but it's just a fingertip from UEL.
It's an unusual end-line play where they just all run in a straight line, basically.
Yeah. Doubling Abigail Juncker, finding the before-mentioned Wagstaff, driving, getting the offensive rebound. She's got open teammates. Beth Jones asking for some movement ahead of her. And Maisie Harden can't quite contain the ball. That's not the first time today that that's happened, Ryan.
No, looks clearly frustrated there as well.
Yeah.
But listen, it's a sufficient lead here for the Archers, and just about going into cruise control over the next few minutes and securing that W. Abigail
Juncker with a great fake pass to Maisie Harridan, and then just cuts behind her defender for the easy lay with that left hand. Abigail Juncker, what a game we're having from her today. We're used to talking about Lauren Psyche, Shannon Hatch. Abigail Juncker is a phenomenal player. And in this three-guard lineup, she has really stepped up. Another big shot for Bedoya there. She had 6 points in the first half. I believe she's had the same amount of points in this quarter.
That's such a difficult shot, fading away, hand all over the ball. That's such an incredible level of skill.
Archers really letting themselves down there. Unaware of the shot clock, perhaps. They really needed to milk that for everything it got. They gave the ball away with 19.3 seconds to go. In the NBA now, that would be called a transition take foul. And we'd be going for a free throw. Luckily for us here at Metsport TV, we don't have to go through that. Bedoya trying to get through Abigail Juncker. Very strong with the defensive end, as you before mentioned, Ryan.
Yeah, she's really been really impressive in this game. Yeah, we mentioned how great defensively she is to this Archers team, and there she is again.
Well, there we have it. The end of the third, 62-37, a 25-point deficit as we leave the third quarter. When we are back, there'll be one final quarter before we can name our victor. Well, let's take a look at some replays in this break. Really important, this shot from Molly James. It set the tone from the start of the third quarter. And this was just so essential. That layup from the offensive rebound. Lauren Psyche, you know what, I'm giving it to her.
She did
It's
look
an
behind the
assist.
shoulder, in all fairness.
I think that was more out of hope than intention. Just hoping someone's there.
She's the sort of player that would try and throw that in any form of game, so you do never know with Lauren.
Wagstaff with the free throw. And there's the fake. Abigail Young. I love that one. I love that one. I want to see that all over social media tomorrow.
I think the best part of that for me is not just the fake, but she uses her body, leans into the defender in a perfectly legal way, who's just gone past, and creates that separation where they were never going to get near the ball. So she was in total control of that. I thought it was a really nice move.
Really shows her understanding, as you're right, of the rules. So many people would take a step and then unintentionally lead to a travel, but she knows to keep her foot planted, uses her body weight, and steps the other way. Fantastic. Well, Steph Collins is coming out of this quarter pretty early. She's quite happy with what the girls are doing. Shannon Hatch, Lauren Psyche, Laura Havling, Beth Jones, and Taylor Lambert look like the five we're going to see for the onset of this final quarter. What do you make of that starting lineup then, Brian?
Listen, Hatch back in, and one thing I want to say, the guys on viewers from home might not be able to see this, but she is working non-stop, whether she's on court or she's on the bike over there. It is non-stop, and it's a credit to her character.
She's staying warm even when she's meant to be resting. I mean, I know that it's important, but I really can't get my head around how she's not absolutely shattered. Lauren Psyche with a great kick out there. A tight handoff, otherwise she would have got the ball taken away and still found her teammate in the corner. UEL bringing it up. I don't think they'll be able to make up this 25-point deficit in 10 minutes, but I have used the commentator's curse once already today. Let's hope I haven't just done it again. Well, they won't be doing it if they're doing things like that. Shannon Hatch with the steal, running up. She's got a teammate in the corner, but goes for the easy layup.
The look on her face there says to me that she had not anticipated finishing exactly like that. Looked like she didn't mean to throw it straight in, and you can tell when she does something she doesn't think she's supposed to have. You can always see the look on her face. She's talking to the bench now as well about it.
Quite an honest player, doesn't choose to style it out, as you might say. The UEL coach again with quite a fair bit to say.
I think it is good coaching as well to try and talk to the referees. I think it's a common misconception that you can't talk to the referees because any talking is bad. Referees are always open to questions. When I referee, I don't like statements at me. That's a foul. That's not a foul. If you're asking questions to try and understand how that referee sees the rules of the game, I think that's the important bit. It's not necessarily the rules of basketball. It's how that referee sees the rules of basketball. You'd want it to be the same every game. It's not. So you've got to make your point sometimes. But he looked like he was doing it in a very respectful way.
UEL here at the top of the key, but there with a screen. And Archers get the rebound. Laura Havling looks for Lauren Psyche. Maybe look to milk the clock here, the Archers. And Laura Havling can't quite keep the ball under control. Shannon Hatch, what a fantastic defensive play. Got right between her opponent and the rim. Hands up, straight as an arrow. And collects the ball to restart. Beth Jones in the corner. Shannon Hatch finds Havling. Beth Jones hasn't moved. Another shot. And can't quite take it off.
Yeah, and it's fascinating just to watch Psyche, I have to say. I mean, her head movement is constant. She's constantly looking. She's constantly looking how to deceive. It's unbelievable to watch.
She's always reading the defense, looking for a chink in the armor, looking for just some way to capitalize. And we've got UEL ball here. We've got another substitution coming on. Scarlett Lindsay for Beth Jones. She's been playing for a little while. She seems to have quite the limp as she steps off. That may be a change that was needing to happen rather than a tactical change.
Yeah, she's had some injury issues recently, especially with her hip. It looks like she may have potentially taken a little bit of a hit there.
Well, UEL only had 6 seconds there, and they couldn't come up with something in the short time they had. Shannon Hatch and Lauren Psyche setting up the play. Interesting to see UEL. They've gone away from the press, happy to sit back and let archers run towards them. Maybe the coaches understood the prowess that the archers have in the transition and are happy to sit back from now on. The ball was given away pretty cheaply. But that is a fantastic rebound and well controlled by Scarlett Lindsay, the recent substitute. Shannon Hatch waiting for her point guard to calm down the possession. Laura Habling looking for the cut from Shannon Hatch, and down she goes.
And that's the nature of that spacing. When Shannon Hatch stays below the line of the baseline and they get that ball in that high post, the defense has got two choices. They either come to the ball and that opens up the pass, or they don't come to the ball and it opens up the easy shot. When you're trying to break down a zone, you need to get the ball in the post, you need to shoot well. But if you just get the ball in the post and pass well, you don't even have to take threes. You can just get layups like that.
Shannon Hatch causing more trouble. We've got a foul here on Shannon Hatch.
I think it looks like the officials called it that Shannon Hatch was just leave it out of the way a little bit too strong.
Right.
There, so it looks like it's going to be Archer's ball.
Northern Psyche with the restart. Shannon Hatch trying to get open. They go instead to the right-hand side. Lara Habling. Great fake pass. I could watch this all day. I could watch this all day. That was fantastic. Lara Habling showing some skills with the ball in her hands there. We've seen threes. We've seen fake passes. These are meant to be the bigs. I mean, as a big yourself, do you pride yourself on doing what people might call, you know, guard play as a big man?
I don't think I've ever done a successful fake pass in Eurostep. But I think that see, basketball's changing somewhat across the world. But especially European players on the whole, we're not really taught, and Britain's slightly different in that we're sort of an amalgamation of Europe and the Western culture, but Laura's from Hungary, and especially in Eastern Europe, they don't teach bigs and smalls and guards and forwards and whatever. Everyone gets all of the basketball skills, no matter how tall you are, because you can't predict when someone's a kid how tall they're going to end up being. So that's that underpinning of basketball education. Up until 14 or 15, they're not told you're just going in the post, you're just doing hooks, you're a guard, you're only running pick and rolls. Everyone does a bit of everything, and I think that's showing there.
Okay, Shannon Hatch and Lauren Psyche looking to bring the ball back in. It's 68 to 37. Archers up by 31. Let's just do the maths in case you're a little bit behind there. Shannon Hatch looking for the corner. Lara Habling again with the fade. This is too easy.
But she was looking for that the whole way. I thought the eyes were going to give it away, but she did a really good job selling it with her body, but she knew exactly what she wanted there, and she went out and executed it. That's great basketball.
And Lara Habling doing that at the offensive end and straight back for the restart. Ryan, I mean, it's got to be so impressive. They're up by 33 points, and they're still pressing like they were in the first quarter.
Yeah, it seems as if they've found the formula and just stuck with it. I mean, it's worked the whole game. It continues to work here late on, and it's just building and establishing a lead on well, they're the only side to beat them. I guess it's the essence of revenge, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, the lack of let-up is what's making me think that this really is something personal. This might have been a fixture they had circled on the calendar, desperate to get back at the UEL team.
Yeah, at this point it's rubbing salt in the wounds of a side that they can't be short-handed, as we've said so many times, but listen, Met have been the better team. They solely deserve the win.
Absolutely. You can only beat what's in front of you.
Exactly.
The Archers getting in now. Shannon Hatch looking for space. Lara Habling with her back towards the post. Happy to spin. Kicks it out just in time there. And the miss from Molly James. This put in! This put in by Scarlett Lindsay off the offensive rebound. Molly James, good defense. Lauren Psyche comes to help. Referees call a foul in the end, but initially at the very least, that was good defense. Good help from Lauren Psyche. She could tell that the ball was just going to get away from her there, and unfortunately, UVL were able to draw the foul.
I think on the point of the intensity, I think it's also important that they're thinking ahead here. So
Yeah.
you don't really want to just chuck in 5 bench players and just let them go for 7 minutes, because you still need to work on lineups and strategies for games going forward. So there's always a balance between the game you're currently playing and your future games and your future end goals of style of play. You're always evolving. So I'd like to see them look at some other players, but they also need to make sure that they don't let it drop off at any point, and that they keep trying to do exactly what they think they need to do to try and win the championship.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that we're so early in the season here in November. Here's Molly James. Lauren Saiki. So comfortable, but gives the ball away, maybe a little too comfortable there. Molly James wins it back, helping out her fellow guard. Saiki on the right-hand side. Shannon Hatch, great give and go. And Beldoya will be bringing the ball back up for UEL. An early shot by Maggie Evans. They call a foul after the offensive rebound.
And Bedoya's done that all night long. I mean, she's crashed the board. She's run the ball up for her team. She's done really, really well for UEL today.
I mean, it's been a difficult game to get really any positives for the UEL outfit, but she has worked her socks off, to say the least.
It didn't look like Scarlett Lindsay believed that was a foul, but
I don't think she did.
In my experience, as both a player and referee, players are liars. You can watch it. If you watch it back and tape, she might have absolutely clobbered her. You can't always trust players.
So we've got Issa Nasha in and Abigail Yunker, as we see Shannon Hatch and Lauren Saiki head to the bench. Issa Nasha there with a rebound. Oh, lovely handle. She keeps it going. Laura Havling finding Yunker.
And Issa's a very popular member of the team. If you've watched her all game, you can see her just in the background going crazy on the bench. Yeah, she's really popular.
Abigail Yunker in the corner, looking to turn. With just 1 second, can't get the shot up. It's interesting. So Issa Nasha, we haven't seen too many minutes from her, but how much impact can you really have from that kind of bench role if you're thrown in for a few minutes at the end of halves?
I think it's less about the playing time when you're 11th or 12th on the roster. You'd obviously love to play more. You kind of assume that every player wants to play 40 minutes.
Of course.
But the energy from the bench is such a vital thing for players like Shannon Hatch, who've got to play 35 to 40 minutes in very difficult games. If they've got someone in their corner going crazy the whole time, it just gives you that boost. And it's not just in games, but it's in practice as well. Sometimes it comes to 7 a.m. on a Tuesday morning in December, or you're in February and it's 9:30 at night on a Thursday. Whatever it is, when someone's bringing positive vibes all of the time and really bringing that energy, it just lifts a session and helps generate an average session into a good session just from sometimes one person just being fun.
That was a fantastic turn by Mackenzie for UEL. A fantastic quick one dribble, turn back over her left shoulder. She went straight for the drive, and I think she sold just about every single archer watching her. Molly James in the end picking up the foul at the basket. Let's see how we go from here. Both teams have not shot the free throw too well tonight. UEL get the first one here. 3 minutes and 22 to go. We are at 72 to 38. Archers UEL. She makes both of them. A side spin on that release. I don't think you'll be teaching that in your coaching sessions, Tom.
I mean, it's something about technique. If it goes in all the time, you don't want to change it. I'm not sure that was in the textbook, but if it goes in, then you're not complaining.
Issa Nasha there found herself in a bit of space, took it early, and UEL can come back again. They need to get back here, the Archers, and she wins it. Referee calls a foul. I'm not quite sure what's gone on there. Issa Nasha dove for the ball, seemed to get struck to the ground, but side out, here we go, UEL. Can't move. Yeah, here's Bedoya finding Mackenzie. She's had a good little quarter here. Gets her own rebound. Maggie Evans Another rebound for Mackenzie. Another rebound for UEL. This is the 4th possession. Make it a 5th. And they pass the ball away. Well, that's shocking from the Archers, Ryan.
Yeah, and I mean, to give up that many rebounds is yeah. But listen, it seems as seems as if in this game that it took swings. Sometimes the Archers have dominated the glass. Sometimes it's been UEL, but ultimately they've held their own and they've done really, really well.
And Maisie Horrobin coming in. Maybe Steph Collins just trying to remedy that there, adding a little bit more length. Abigail Yunker pushing to her right hand. Very strong with a layup down low. Abigail Yunker's had such a good game. Very, very impressed with her today. Here's Cadogan finding Shane Douglas Small. And the maestro all night, Bedoya. Coming up with Nasha. A strong drive. Are they calling a defensive foul?
Yeah, she just came in from the side a little bit there. She was using her chest, but she hadn't established position in front of the attacker. So, especially from the angle of the referee there, a very straightforward one.
An opportunity perhaps to have set up there, Abigail Yunker to take on the charge, but maybe with 2 minutes to go, we can forgive her for not sacrificing her body too much. Nice separation created there in the mid-range. Another offensive rebound. Bedoya, I think we'll get a jump ball there.
She's hustled and hustled and hustled. Both ends of the court. She's really, really been terrific tonight, Bedoya.
We've called it a foul. All right, so the restart here. A very quick shot with 14 seconds left on the clock. Joloshia Cadogan. UEL trying to regain some pride here at the end. Abigail Yunker. Molly James creating some nice separation, passes it up. Travel called on Scarlett Lindsay.
Yeah, just dragged her foot a little bit there. She was looking for Horrobin inside and kind of lost the thought process behind the footwork there. Just got to make sure you keep your concentration for the full 40 minutes there.
Got to keep that focus. A little lull here for the Archers. We haven't had a score in about a minute and a half. I don't think it's going to matter. I think it's fair for me to say that we are confident that the Archers are going to take this one. I don't believe we'll see 33 points scored.
Big claim, that was big claim.
I'm trying my best to not come off bias at Met Sport TV for the Met. We got Molly James pushing in, sidestepping. Easy rebound for UEL. A reach-in foul. That was lazy. Lazy from the Archers.
I mean, this was always going to be a tough task for UEL coming in. But yeah, they've showed great heart. Next up for them is Essex, so a bit of a localised derby there.
Yeah.
For Met, it's Bournemouth, who they beat by 77 points the last time they played. So
Core.
It's going to be interesting.
That's a bigger margin than they've scored in total tonight. Well, we'll be looking forward to that game in Bournemouth. And make sure to remember, if you're listening to this stream right now, don't go to bed, don't go home when this stream ends. We've got another game coming at 8 o'clock tonight. You can check in for the Reading men's Cardiff Met against Cardiff Uni. Clash on the court, Cardiff clash, all in one. Double trouble. Archers looking to set up one of the final plays of the game. Abigail Yunker directing her teammates. And there we have Ansha. And not enough strength on the shot there. UEL. Okay, UEL get it back again. But Doyer finding Maggie Evans. Air ball. Well, the Archers should be aware here. There's 23 seconds left on the clock. They can just bounce the air out of the ball here for this last one.
It doesn't look like they will. It looks like they're going to play, and you know, I don't think there's too much wrong with that. They're trying to get better at this offense with this group of players out there. I don't think they'll be too upset.
Lovely from Maisie Horobin. Nice finger roll.
I like to see it, especially when that's the result. So
that is it. Archers come out on top, a 33-point margin, 76-43. Well, that was an absolutely thrilling game to watch. Maybe the Archers were the better side by quite the margin here, but they still kept it exciting. We've got to say, the UEL coach, he's got a bit of a long drive with his players home, but he can be happy about the effort they put in. Only 7 of them in the entire roster for this evening, and they worked so hard on that offensive glass that they really were causing problems for the Archers. I mean, Tom, how much can he take away from this, knowing that on another day it may have been a different result?
I think he should be quite proud of the efforts his team put in. I think when you're a coach, you won't always judge the result, obviously, but you also think a lot about the process. So, what type of offense you're trying to run, what type of defense you're trying to run, how well did you execute certain elements that you wanted to focus on? And they tried hard the whole time. They never let their heads drop. They proved what a gritty group they are, and when they add in those couple of star players that they were missing, it shows why they were able to beat Cardiff Met at home. It's all about making sure that you do yourselves justice and you do yourselves proud. So you might look at that scoreline and think it wasn't competitive. It was certainly a competitive game the whole time. There just was more talent on the Archers team, and they played better in periods and they scored better in transition, but take nothing away from UEL really, and it sounds funny to say after a 30-point defeat, but fundamentally they gave it everything they could, and they tried to execute what they were told to, and sometimes it just didn't work, and that happens in basketball.
Ryan, if I was to ask you to name your MVP of this game, who would you choose?
I don't think there's much doubt. Listen, the Archers are a terrific squad, they're full of quality, but Shannon Hatch today was head and shoulders above everyone. I mean, she did everything. She was great defensively, she was great offensively. I don't think it's hard to argue with that. Yeah,
I think Abigail Juncker had a fantastic game. She may have been a dark horse, but there is no denying the prowess of Shannon Hatch. She has been fantastic for a long time here for the Archers, and she's shown again why she is the focal point for this team. All right, and I think we are ready to hear from Shannon Hatch. She is with Mo Farah.
Hi Lauren, Mohammed Farah, Cardiff Met Sports TV. So Lauren, that was a high-scoring game this evening. You were top scorer. How would you rate your performance of the team this evening?
Oh, it was a great team performance, to be fair. It was really great to come out of the team. We had lost to them previously in our first matchup in a tough overtime game. So it was really, really great to come out with great energy and get a good team win in front of a great crowd. So yeah, really happy.
Yeah, the team gelled very well this evening. That's 5 games on a spin now. How do you rate the rest of the team performance?
Yeah, I think our strength is the fact that we're super deep. And we enjoy playing with each other, and we trust each other. So the ball, we share it, and we're just super happy for each other when we do well. So yeah, it's fantastic.
This is the second clash on the court this evening. The crowds turned up behind me, as you can see. How do you rate the event this evening?
Yeah, you know what? It's fantastic that the SU and the university has put on such a great event for us, and to have three games, a netball game first, and now 2 basketball games is fantastic, and yeah, it's great. It's the first, I think it's the first edition, and hopefully the first of many more.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us. Go to the rest of the team and enjoy the celebrations this evening.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you very, very much.
I know. Just going to pass you all back to our commentary team, David Jones and Ryan Byrne. Okay, I'm just going to take you off here now. Thanks for joining us. We've got Cardiff Met versus Cardiff Uni so on the Clash on the Court.
Clash on the Court promo shoot, take 1.
one day.
Live only in Cardiff Met Sport TV. Yeah.